Now I'm going to show you how to make your mask without a sewing machine. So I've got my two pieces and I've got them wrong sides together, and I'm going to use a contrast thread so you can easily see what I'm doing. But if I was doing this for myself, I would have probably matched it, although, you know, who's to say, a contrast thread could be really nice. So I'm using an embroidery thread here because that's quite thick, and what we're trying to avoid is gaps. So I'm going to start off by knotting my thread, and I'm going to start right on the edge of the mask and pull my thread through. Now I've got quite a long thread here because I'm going to do blanket stitch, which will cover the edges really well, but also uses quite a bit of thread. The other thing you could do too is, if you wanted just to keep it in place, you could pop a couple of pins in, but neoprene doesn't really shift. So to do a blanket stitch, bring your thread through, go through the fabric following that distance of seam allowance which is marked on your pattern, wrapping the thread around the needle and bring the thread through. Now the first stitch sort of always looks a little bit rough, but you can see there the thread is pulling through like so, and I'm going to do that again. So I go through, wrap the thread around the needle and bring it up, and again. So you want to just really keep a nice even distance. And the reason I'm doing this on the right side, you might sort of prefer to have the seam on the inside, but you know what? You want this mask to be comfortable to wear, and so my feeling is that if you have the seam on the outside, it's just going to be less irritation. See how pretty that looks? Who needs an overlocker, hey? And we're going to do that the whole length of the curve. And here we are at the end. Just do your final stitch. It's nice and neat. And then just come back round and do a couple of stitches in place, just so it doesn't come undone. And we'll take that out. Now you can see blanket stitched the edges, which seals that edge, so it's almost like having a double row of stitching, making it nice and secure. Next we're going to attach the straps. Now you can adjust the straps to fit. I suggest you make one, see how it feels. You might need to just cut out another one, but it doesn't use that much fabric. Use the guides to actually get your placement. You want the strap to be on a slight angle, not straight. So I'm going to put the strap on. So what I'm going to do in this example is actually have two buttons, and I'm going to just sew one button on as a decorative feature with my embroidery thread. It's nice and thick, so I only need to do 2 stitches on each pair of buttonholes. I've got a 4 buttonhole here. Through the other side, I like to do like a little cross. I think that looks sweet. Matches nicely with the blanket stitching. Go through, and then to finish off, I like to do the knot underneath the button. So I'm going to come back through to the right side, just underneath the button, and over sew to finish off, because I don't actually want the knot on the underside, because that could actually irritate my skin. And we want to make this as friendly as possible for wearing. So I'm going to cut that off. So that's attached. Now I could actually do the same thing to the other side and just sew the button down if I felt like I didn't need to have it actually sort of as a functioning fastening. But in this instance, I'm just going to actually show you how it is on the pattern. So I'm going to sew the button on. So you can choose whether you want the fastening side to be on the left or the right, depending on what's easier for you, if you're left-handed or right-handed. Oops, sew that on. Again, making the little cross. And as with the other side, I'm going to bring my needle back up to the right side underneath the button and just over sew my stitches so that the knot isn't going to be an irritation. Like so, and there we have it. The final thing to do is to make a hole for my button, and because this the neoprene or scuba doesn't fray, I can just do a snip. But don't forget, it is stretchy, so you probably want to make your little opening slightly smaller than your button so that when it goes on, it's going to sit nice and snugly. So there we have it, finished hand sewn mask, and that really didn't take me more than 10 minutes start to finish. So let's put this mask on. So here it is. You can see the top because the higher part of the curve is on the top and the strap is angling up. So I'm not even going to bother undoing the button. It's just going to slip it on over my head like that. Just rest my glasses on top. And there you can see, really good fit. No gaps anywhere, going over my ears, no pressure. Can wear earrings, hearing aid, glasses. I love it. So why don't you have a go? Because it's actually really fun making it by hand as well. Don't forget, if you're going to put it on Instagram, tag me at Pattern Union because I just love to see your makes too.